Welcome to the Content Magazine podcast, conversations with Silicon Valley's creatives. I'm Daniel Garcia, your host and the cultivator of Content Magazine published by SV Creates.
Hi, this is Kristen.
Today we talk with Kristen Pfund. She is the producer of Content Magazine as well as Gen Arts and part of the SV Creates team. Hey Kristen, how you doing? This is Daniel.
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Hey, I just wanted to have a conversation with you because you've been a part of content for a while. So in this podcast, I also want to have people who are out there in the community, but also the creators behind the magazine.
Awesome.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us how you came to content?
Yeah, I've been with content for just about 6 years now. I was introduced to the magazine at the San Pedro Square Farmers Market. And I had just come off almost 2-year mission trip overseas. And so I was pretty much having reverse culture shock. But my friend, Allison LeClaire, actually said that I needed to be introduced to this magazine and get involved. So she knew that I had a background in the arts and creative industry, specifically around production. And she thought that it would be a good fit for me.
So in that time then, what has been your role, and what is your role, and what's some of the things that you do for the magazine?
Yeah, my role started off as a photo shoot producer, and it was all volunteer the first year. And as those shoots took off, I started to do more pickup party work. And so I think the biggest pickup party of that year was the one at the Glass House, where we did a whole fashion show with haute couture, and just had a really great turnout. And ever since then, I've been doing pickup parties every other month, also some meetups and other partner events. And those partner events have also now connected with sponsorships and community partnerships. So it's been a great way to just get to know people in the South Bay.
Yeah. What do you think you've learned about yourself throughout this last few years of working with the magazine? How have you grown?
I've gotten a lot older. Yeah, actually, it's funny because, I think I never really saw myself as putting together events for a city, let alone within San Jose and Silicon Valley, which has quite a few people living in it. I think it's been cool to see something that once caused me a little bit of anxiety and nerve about, is this going to turn out? Are people going to show up? Now becoming more, easy to do. Not so much the logistics per se, but the emotions that come with that. Or, just getting over the what ifs. And just seeing how many people come out to these each time we release an issue has always been really encouraging to just see people come together. And I've definitely seen growth in myself. I didn't know that production was like a natural thing for me, but it now becomes something that gives me a lot of life as far as just like seeing things come together. It's just really exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I always get those feelings like before the pickup party, like even 30 minutes before when everything's set up and we're standing there. I'm always nervous, like, okay, nobody's going to show up.
Yeah, it's like 6:55 and we're like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh wait, it didn't start yet.
Yeah, it is great when people show up.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, what's kind of like a fun experience that you've had? Like what's something that stands out like, wow, that was really cool?
Yeah, I really enjoy the photo shoots that we do with West Valley. I think it's really neat to see just the students' work and what they've been able to come up with in a very short amount of time. I think it's really exciting to be able to work with other artists as well, makeup artists, hairstylists, wardrobe stylists, to bring that shoot all together. And it just ends up being a really cool thing to work with people that have never been in that type of setting, seeing their clothing on a model for the first time, and then also knowing that shoot is going to be placed within the issue ends up feeling just like a really cool experience. You can see it in everyone's face and that we're actually building something together. And it's just really rewarding in that way.
Yeah, it's cool. It's such a fun spread and everything. Do you have kind of like for yourself like a mission or a certain purpose in life? What kind of drives you?
I'm driven by serving others, and that looks different for me as it does for different people. For me, it's all about connecting with people and having conversations with them and just hearing a little bit about their life and where their passions are leading them, what kind of goals that they have. That's the one thing I really like about the production side of things, is that you're able to bring people into a bigger picture, whether it's an event or a photo shoot or a film, and they're able to produce their art or in creativity. And so I like to come alongside people's journeys and provide opportunities for them to do their work, but then also express themselves. And I always try and make anything that I work on or when I work with people for it to feel very human.
Yeah.
And that's usually can be done naturally, unless it becomes all about the work. And so I always try and remember, like, we're here to connect with one another. And so you being on this set or you being on at this event, like, whatever you bring to the table doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic. And so that's what I really appreciate. And I think that's why I like those event days so much, because that interaction is happening throughout the whole day, from setup to cleanup. And so, I mean, there's funny things that happen all the time, and we're always trying to troubleshoot, but it's a cool way to just work together and, just see an outcome come from that.
Yeah, that's cool. So now we have this shelter in place going on. Lots of events like our pick a party and our meetup have all been postponed or changed. Or so what's it kind of in the plans for content for this sheltered in thing?
Yeah, I'm thankful as a publication that we're still able to connect with our audience, as well as our features and other artists in the community. It's been awesome to just figure out how we can work together and make this digital space work in this short time, and then also plan for the long time. So something that we have actually coming up that's been fairly recently talked about is we're teaming up with Phil Maresca from Philco to produce an online pickup party. And so we've never done something like this. We're going to try something new with various chat room type Zoom account experience. And we hope to connect with our features and bring them into that process. And yeah, like the early days, we hope people show up. But so I think that's a really exciting thing to try in a time like this that is so unknown.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for always being in a community of people that are willing to try something and don't necessarily expect perfection, but they feel that they're being reached out to and involved. And so the whole purpose of this is to still drive community, even though we're all physically separated from one another.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun experience, So, doing production and even kind of like sponsorships and partners and stuff like that. What's some advice you would give somebody if they were getting started in either of those kind of capacities, or thought they had an interest in doing something in those areas?
They're fairly different. In the event space, I would recommend people ask questions and connect with people. Like something with this pickup party, it hasn't been done, and so I'm going to start by reaching out to our features to be like, would you be interested? Would you be willing to host one of these online conversations? Yeah. And just see what the interest level is. And the best part when you're first starting to put an event together is you need other people that are buying in early, that are willing to help with the logistics of things, whether it's finding other partners or providing space, or it's kind of like I think way old days when it was you'd trade and work together and bring something together. And so that's something that I would recommend to people, is just start the conversation to see who else will be willing to join you, and see what you can put together, and start small.
Yeah.
Because I think if we think it has to be something really big, we get tripped up in the big details without taking the steps it takes to get there.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Then,
and then the sponsorship partner.
The sponsor. Era. Yeah, I think for me, I come from a marketing sales background, so there was a bit of a learning curve with that, especially having a publication, because people automatically assume, oh, ads, yeah, okay, I want to do advertising with you guys. And our story is a lot bigger than that. Being a part of SV Creates, a nonprofit, and being a platform for the arts and creative, we're looking for partners and people that believe in the mission of supporting the creativity of our region and the artists. And so I would say just start having conversations, coffee talks, when those are allowed again. But no, just get-togethers and just joining people's events and attending things to really get to know the things that they care about, and see where there's a natural connection, and if there's a natural connection, that could be a long-term relationship. I think either way, though, it's like there was an interest in the first place, which is why I would have shown up at their events. So that connection remains genuine.
Yeah.
And that even if something doesn't work in the short term, that we're still in support of one another, because we care about what the other is doing for the public.
Yeah. You were actually had to be on quarantine. Like, most people are calling this sheltered in place. They're calling it quarantine. Well, it's really not quarantine. Quarantine is when you have to be separated, right? Because you had a roommate who had the virus, so you were quarantined. So what was that like, that experience of being basically shut in your room?
Yeah. At first it sounded cool. I mean, I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this just got really intense. Like, I can't leave.
Yeah.
But then I think that wore off after the first time someone had to drop off groceries. And it was just weird to not be able to take care of myself in a way that I'm used to, as far as, like, being able to go get water. And a lot of times we were just at the mercy of other people's availability to be able to drop things off. And it was humbling to receive that kind of care from people.
Yeah.
It was also really emotional in the sense that we don't have any windows that face the street. So people would drop off, I should say on the first floor. So when people would drop off food or water to us, we would be waiting from the second floor. So it just felt like that much more degree of separation.
Oh, yeah. You're kind of like Rapunzel or something.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit like that. So, like, not being able to, other people are experiencing this too, not being able to see family, hug family, but especially when someone does something for you, you want to give some sort of appreciation exchange, and that not having that physical connection was really challenging. I think, it's so funny how quickly our mind forgets those experiences too, because I've been able to go to the store now for the last week. And my first time in the store after being quarantined for almost 3 weeks, I thought it was going to be this really fun experience. I was all dressed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I got there and I was like, oh, I didn't really miss much. This looks exactly how I remember it. It just is more sad now because I don't know why our Safeway doesn't play music during this season.
Yeah.
But, besides that, I think we kind of got on each other's nerves here and there, but we just kept communication open, which was really helpful.
Yeah, that's crazy. So also you do stuff with Gen Arts. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Gen Arts is and what they do?
Yeah, Gen Arts is a program of SV Creates, and we support and provide career development opportunities for artists, creatives, and arts advocates. And so we do workshops on grant proposal writing, as well as advocacy training. So speaking up for arts and creativity to our legislatures, as well as learning how to advocate for ourselves as artists. So whether that comes to getting paid appropriately or being able to promote the work that we do to show its value, that's the type of workshops that we provide. We also do more creative networking events where we connect with, we've done a lot of things with San Jose Jazz, where our members get invited to do a behind-the-stage chat with one of the artists at one of their Winterfests or Summerfests, as well as talk to them or see them do a recording. And then we'll follow it up with some sort of night out or brunch where we can talk about that experience.
Yeah. So, and who is Gin Arts specifically for? What would you say? Who's the folks that you want to be involved in that?
Yeah, those would be we'd say arts administrators are definitely welcome, professional artists, people that are looking for some form of career development and leadership opportunities. We have say in quotations, like a working board, but we're a steering committee. And so we invite the steering committee. We meet once a month, and they actually are involved in the whole budget process, grant writing process, reporting, and planning of what this program is about. And so each year we set up, based upon goals, like what is it that we want to provide for the community. And it's a great way for people to get hands-on experience in that whole process of developing a program and executing it throughout the year.
Yeah, cool. And what is your current Netflix or Prime or whatever it is, Roku, whatever, binge right now? What's your binge you're in?
My current binge. Oh man, I'm a student also, so I don't have a lot of binging time.
Yeah.
I did watch This Is Us very regularly.
Oh yeah.
I've been a big fan since the beginning. I'm trying to get into The Tiger King, but I am so pro animal rights, and it's very hard to watch.
Oh,
yeah. I do find it fascinating, but I'm just the poor tigers.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah, it is crazy.
But yeah, I'm actually looking for a new one. So if you have any recommendations.
And then you're in school. What are you in school for? What are you taking?
Yeah, I'm finishing my bachelor's degree in psychology. And so that's been something that's been in the back of my mind to study for the last 13, 14 years. And so I just decided to go for it. I think it was always holding me back because I knew it would be about 8 years of school with wanting to get the doctorate. So thankfully, I finally had a friend that said, those 8 years are going to happen no matter what. So do you want to be at your goal in 8 years, or you want to just be thinking about it?
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, so I've been going to school now for about just shy of a year.
Yeah. And you've been doing online classes, right?
All online classes. I'm going to school at Biola University, which is in Southern California. So I'm thankful they don't require even finals or midterms to be taken at the school.
Yeah.
But
that's cool. You kind of were preparing for the shelter in place already.
Yeah. That did not affect my school at all. As everyone else had a week off, all the teachers had to put together online curriculum. All my teachers were like, well, this doesn't affect you. Keep going.
Yeah. That's good. Any last words of wisdom do you want to give?
Words of wisdom. Oh, man, I'm on the spot. Please come to the pickup party.
Yeah, join the virtual pickup party.
It will be wise of you to come to the pickup party.
True marketer.
Right?
No.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing's really coming to mind. I guess in this time of shelter in place, I think reminding myself things that I'm grateful for right now has been able to helped me see that, I'm still able to connect with people in some ways. People still care about me. I'm still able to impact the world in small ways, and that, I feel like God's still in all of this and is taking care of us in different ways. And so being grateful through this time has definitely made a difference.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you. And I am so grateful for you for being involved in the magazine. And I really appreciate all you do and the way that you help us connect with our mission, really, to support artists. So thank you for all your work, and thank you for this conversation. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Content Magazine podcast. Please follow us on social media at Content Mag, and subscribe by going to our website, content-magazine.com. This episode's music is Muddy Water from Sakura's 2020 release, Coming Home Soon. You can find Sakura on Spotify.